Bluegrass. I have been looking forward to having this group in the studio for a long time. These guys are not only fabulous musicians, but we have some family connection too. So kick back and enjoy the great bluegrass music of Bluetown. They are on stage.
County was raised a crooked man. Bradley County drive the prices high for the bootleg whiskey man. His age was barely 21, his family was ashamed. They had a son and he left his home for the bootleg whiskey game. Bootleg John, won't you come on home? The family's all alone. You're running wild and your baby child wants his daddy home. She loved him dearly, though he seldom came around. She'd always cry when he said goodbye, but she never could hold him down. With a pistol in his pocket, shotgun on the floor, he made his run to Lexington to the bootleg whiskey store. Bootleg John, won't you come on home? The family's all alone. You're running wild and your baby child wants his daddy home. Last run, the sheriff pulled him over, shot the lawman down. They locked him well in the county jail, the jail in Jackson town. Bootleg John, won't you come on home? The family's all alone. You're running wild and your baby child wants his daddy home. Baby don't want me, she don't need me, found herself someone new. Never left me at home, sitting alone, with nothing in the world to do. Well, my stomach's churning, my eyes are burning, my hair is a turning gray. I'm in trouble deep, I can't get no sleep, since she's went away. Them blues, they've got me, tears rolling down my face. Outstanding. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody here at WKTV in beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are the Indianapolis-based band Bluetown. We have been together now for about 6 years. We've had some changing faces and some changing songs, but all in all, the core is still here. Mandolin player over here on our right, he's the baritone singing, the mandolin chopping machine himself. He drives a mean UPS truck in the wintertime, so if your package is ever late, it is not his fault. But he's always on time for us, and we appreciate that. Y'all make him welcome Mr. Rick Collier. Over on the left is his younger, a little bit better looking brother. A little bit. You betcha. He is the guitar and tenor singer of the group. He does a lot of fine lead singing. One of the finest lead singers in the state of Bluegrass. As far as I'm concerned, y'all make him as Mr. Tim Collier.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Down here on the 5-string banjo, he is the newest member of Bluetown. He's been with us now about 2.5 years, but doing a mighty fine job for us, and we're so glad to have Mr. Cody Hill. And then back here on the upright bass, rounding out the Collier family, I'm surrounded by Colliers. I just noticed that.
Yes, sir. It's a good thing.
He is the 18-year-old phenom. He is one fabulous bass player, and we are proud to have him up here today with us, and this is Mr. Zach Collier.
And our singing, fiddle-playing machine from Connersville, Indiana, the 4-time Indiana State champion, Barkley Davis on the fiddle.
That last song that we did was a song called Just the Silence. It will be our first single off our next album. We're currently in the studio right now cutting our second album. The next song that we're going to do for everyone here today is a song that I wrote that will be featured on the next album. I wrote it a couple of years ago and brought it to the band, and everybody took a liking to it. One called Kentucky Bluebird. 1, 2. another one that's going to be on the new album. I'm going to feature another one that I wrote. How about a little Sally Mae? Does that sound like a good idea? I'm in tune. 1, 2, 3. Well, Sally Mae was a pretty little girl who lived right down the road. She would give a holler, boy, let me tell you where I'd go. Sally Mae, come a little closer. Sally, be my wife. When I'm with you, little girl, everything's gonna be alright. There's a girl on my mind I can't get over. That would break the heart of any man. Without her, things would fall to pieces. Yes, I'm dreaming about my Mary Ann. So I'll just keep touching up my gray hair. Live and hope someday she'll understand. And it's no matter if I live to be 100. There'll always be a place in my heart for Mary Ann. Well, I know she's out there somewhere in a world that can't be found. And to think of her still drags me down. Without her, things would fall to pieces. Yes, I'm dreaming about my Mary Ann. So I'll just keep touching up my gray hair. Live and hope someday she'll understand. And it's no matter if I live to be 100. There'll always be a place in my heart for Mary Ann. Oh, it's no matter if I live to be 100. There'll always be a place in my heart for Mary
Welcome to Bluegrass on Stage. Today our featured band is Bluetown from Indianapolis. We had a great show with these guys. What a bunch of great musicians. Awesome job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I mentioned earlier in the introduction that I've got some family connections here, and I'm going to tell you who that is. That's Mr. Barkley here. He happens to be married to my niece, Jennifer.
Yep.
Jenny is my brother Dave's daughter. And we were just, well, we knew she'd marry a bluegrass musician.
8 wonderful years.
What?
We celebrated in July. So,
And
I feel so sorry for that lady.
so do I.
But there's a lot of history with your music. Why don't you talk about where you come from with your music?
Yeah, sure. My dad played with a international bluegrass band for many years called the Kentucky Gentlemen. So I grew up at a very young age with the nighttime lullabies of Bill Monroe tunes and Flat and Scruggs tunes, from his band in the room over, practicing when their next tour hit. And then I usually was in the bunk bed through the wall, going to sleep to the sounds of wonderful bluegrass music. So it's a true story that when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I was in Dad's music room, and he wanted me to get along out the door, so he grabbed a Bill Monroe album and hit me on the hind end. So it's like, get out here, get. So bluegrass was instilled in me at a very young age. So, but I grew up through the years, and after the military, I got more involved in it than what I was previously. I just did some fiddle contests and didn't do very much singing at all. And after the military, kind of played a little bit more music, and then met these fellers about 4 or 5 years ago. Yep. So we were in the Indianapolis area. I had moved and did not know any musicians in the local area. So I had found another gentleman, and we had put together a little jam session. And we hosted that a couple of months in a row, and then these guys caught wind of it, those being Rick and Tim, and they showed up one day. And I never had met them before. It was one of those things, we've probably been at the same place at the same time. We did not know. We lived not even 3 miles from each other at the time. And they came into my jam there, the jam session, and we sang one song together, and I wouldn't let them leave the parking lot. So we got to know each other, exchanged phone numbers, and they never called me again.
Now, speaking of your dad, Marvin Davis,
yes.
And he is not only a good musician, he's a famous songwriter.
Yes, he has had a great success in songwriting. He has written many numbers for, you name them, Larry Sparks, Ralph Stanley, the Lost and Found, Lonesome River Band, all have recorded his music. He has had Josh Williams, and his very first solo album had one of my dad's songs on it, and it's kind of passed down through the generations. I've written a couple of songs, and I have been very fortunate now to have one of my songs released nationally. These guys give me a lot of grief. It was a great moment. I got an article in Bluegrass Today on their website that said, Barkley Davis, new songwriter, whose dad has been writing classics for years. So
there's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, I'm the songwriter, and he writes classics. So he's had great fortunate. One of his albums actually was nominated for a Grammy in '97. That was the first Dubuchet release out of Virginia with Tim Austin, and they did the Ralph Stanley tribute album. And his song was Bootleg John that Ralph Stanley had recorded back in the 60s and 70s, and it made its way back around in life and was released, and that album was nominated for a Grammy that year.
Excellent.
For Bluegrass Album of the Year. So
now, I know you write. Anybody else write?
Nope.
Speak up.
Nope.
Nobody? Right? Okay.
He wrote an essay the other day in English class.
It's a senior English class.
Actually, Zach, you appear to be the youngest member of the band. How do you fit into the band, and how old are you?
Well, I'm 17. You said it wrong on the thing, but...
Sorry, I said he was 18. Sorry.
I just go along with it. They're all older, so you just got to play.
Well, how'd you hook up with the guys?
He's my dad, so... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a family connection.
Did we get her surprise face
You
on
just
film
got
there?
the surprise
I've known
face.
him.
Okay, Tim. Now, you actually sing very well, too. I enjoyed your singing.
That's debatable. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate it.
Good guitar player. Let's talk about your history with bluegrass music.
I started, I would say, the very first band I was in was in 1994, so it's been 20 years now. Rick and I was in a band with our dad, and this would have started around 1992, and it was called the Gospel Express. It was an all-gospel group, and it was some people that lived right around our home there in Indianapolis, and we stayed together for just a couple of years, and in 1994, I joined a band called the Bluegrass Gospel Reflections, and I toured with them for 3 years, and then in 1997, Rick and I joined the New Harmony Bluegrass Band, and we did that for the better part of 14 years almost, and we just went everywhere and toured all kinds of states and played all kinds of festivals. And but our history dates back to our dad. He's from Pikeville, Kentucky. Our mom's from Harlan County, so rich in bluegrass. Our dad, when he was alive, was a great lead singer, a great strong lead voice, and Rick has that same type of voice. I don't have that. I have more of a higher tenor voice because our dad, it's not a girl. It's not a girl. Takes a real man to sing like a woman. Tell you right now, boys.
Rick, you do a great job on the mandolin. Tell me about the history that you have with bluegrass music.
Okay, I guess it goes back to about '92 when I started playing the mandolin, but it goes back way farther than that. My dad used to take us to Bean Blossom back when we were kids, to the barn. If anybody has been down to that, they used to have a barn on Sundays they played, and he took us to festivals, and that's really the only music he listened to. So we grew up around it, and one of the reasons I started playing is because he's my baby brother, by the way, 10 years younger than me. I wanted to spend time with my dad and my baby brother. So that was a good way to do it. So I started playing and singing, and we really enjoy singing, and that's just our family in general.
Cody, let's move over to you. You're a very, very skilled banjo player for a young age, too. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 23.
You're 23, so you are young. You're very skilled on the banjo. Good job.
Thank you.
And how do you fit with bluegrass music? And give us a little bit of your history.
It cost them a lot of money to get me to come out here. I don't really enjoy it. No, I think I was 15, and I just went to dinner with my mom. We went to eat one night, and there was a band playing at the restaurant, and it was a band called the New Old Timers. Well, they were a bluegrass band, and I liked the sound of it and everything. I had never really listened to it a lot before that, but I liked the sound of it, and I decided I wanted to learn how to play the guitar. So I started playing the guitar, and I played for maybe 5 or 6 months, and then I decided I wanted to try to play the banjo. So I started playing the banjo, and just kind of stuck to it and kept going and going, and met these guys I think 3 years ago.
I started playing the fiddle. I was about 4 years old, 5 years old. I started with, the very entry level, Boiling Cabbage Down, and, the Mary Had a Little Lamb, and and the one song where they asked me to quit playing. I tried to remember how that song went, but I never did figure that out.
That's the third one we played today.
That was the third one, to quit playing? But Dad was learning fiddle at the time, and I was kind of going through. He would learn a lick, show me a lick, and then I started doing a lot of fiddle contests in the local areas, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Then 15, 16 years old, I realized I started to chase after girls, so they realized that guitar players is actually the way to go with that. So I started learning how to play the guitar when I was about 16 years old, 17, and then played guitar for the next probably 10 or 15 years, and I put the fiddle down, and I hadn't touched the fiddle probably for 10 or 12 years. And then, in all honesty, after I met these guys, it was inspiring, so to say. I had a reason to play the fiddle again, because Tim was already, a monster guitar player, much better rhythm player than I could ever be. And at the time, everything was filled in. They needed a fiddle player, so I had to start learning how to play the fiddle again. And it's been 5 or 6 years now, but I'm getting a little better, not much better.
So we know you play the fiddle. We know you play the guitar, mandolin. I've seen you play that. Banjo?
I'm trying to learn how to play the banjo a little bit.
Not very good.
Not very good.
Don't let him have one, please. We're begging.
Cody showed me a couple of licks, to work with, but I can hold it up and drop it, but that one's still a work in progress.
Okay, Tim, where do you sit with instruments? You're awesome on the guitar, and let's talk about your guitar.
I play guitar, and that is it. I'm one of those guys that just stuck with the same thing, and I can't play as well as Barkley, but I've always liked the rhythm aspect of it. Our dad was a good rhythm guitar player. That's one thing he could always do. The guitar that I played, I think it was about 1998. We were in Earl Park, Indiana. They closed down the whole town, and they have a great big town festival. And there was a gentleman there. He come up to me and he said, "I would like for you to play one of my guitars." And I said, okay. Well, sometimes people can have you play stuff that's really, really good, or something that's really not good. And you have to be nice in both aspects, and I was. And I was playing a guitar inside his camper, and at that time, that was probably 16 years ago. He had just turned about, I think, 75 at that time, so he's well over 90 now. And he was sitting on his bed, and I was playing this real fancy guitar with all this inlay and just nice and pretty, and he was kicking his feet under his bed. And I said, "What is under that bed?" He said, "Well, that's just something you just don't want to look at. It's really old, and I made that a long time ago, and you really don't want that. You want this nice, shiny new one. And I said, well, let's take a look. Anyway, he opened up the case, and the strings were green. It hadn't been played in years. And
They're still green.
they're still green, I think. So he walked over and took a set of side cuts and cut all the strings at once. He said, change them.
Okay.
And I changed them, and we went on stage that evening. Rick and I played that show, and I come off of there, and I said, I don't know what I have to do, but I know I want to own this. And he said, I think you've made a mistake. This is not the guitar that I really want you to have. And I said, well, it's the one I really want. And I have looked the world over, and I haven't found one that I like any better.
Take a quick moment to reintroduce the guitar player here with a good old tune called Lefty's Old Guitar.
I don't make much music these days. I'm an old guitar nobody plays. There's still a whole lot of good picking left in me. I don't mind just to hang here silently, because I'm proud to be Lefty's old guitar, filled with memories of a superstar. My home is in the Country Music Hall of Fame. It's such a grand feeling to share old Lefty's name. I just hang here on this wall and remember it all, and the good times outweigh the bad by far. Though these strings are rusty and old, they once played hits of solid gold. I'm a symbol of a star, I'm Lefty's old guitar. Saginaw, Michigan was always a favorite of mine. And if you get the money, honey, I'll get the time. He put his heart and soul in all of the songs he wrote. You could feel what he was feeling with every single note. We traveled many years together, playing one-night shows. Well, I should be contented with that, I suppose. But when I think of the past and all of the places we've been, Lord, I'd give the world to do it all over again. I just hang here on this wall and remember it all, and the good times outweigh the bad by far. Though these strings are rusty and old, they once played hits of solid gold. I'm a symbol of a star, I'm Lefty's old guitar. Oh, I'm proud to be Lefty's old guitar.
Well, you know, I have found myself with bluegrass music, you meet heartfelt people.
Absolutely.
You know, you meet some of the best friends and you keep them for life. I think there's a bond. Yes. And I'm sure you've run across that with a lot of your musician friends too. Where did the name Bluetown come from?
What got all this together, we'd entered a phone call came to us, and they'd asked us to play a place in Everton, Indiana. And we kind of put this little arrangement together. And we got up to the house and we practiced. And we had thrown 3 or 4 names around, and Tim actually came up with Bluetown.
And don't fall asleep, but pray night and day on your seek in the deep. Father and mothers, they're praying so loud, saying, Lord, won't you take me in your life boat? Take me in your life boat, oh, take me in your life boat. Yeah, we'll stand a raging storm. Take me in your life boat, oh, take me in your life boat. Yeah, we'll bear my spirit home. The clouds are so heavy, the winds are so loud, the thunders are rolling, bursting into cloud. They pray for their shipmates for what they've done, to take a dying sailor in your life boat. Take me in your life boat, oh, take me in your life boat. Yeah, we'll stand a raging storm. Take me in your life boat, oh, take me in your life boat. Yeah, we'll bear my spirit home. Take me in your life boat, oh, take me in your life boat. Yeah, we'll stand a raging storm. Take me in your life boat, oh, take me in your life boat. Yeah, we'll bear my spirit home. Yeah, we'll bear my spirit home.
Let's get her in the key of E, boys.
Oh, Lord.
Make you guys earn your paycheck.
Well, darling, there's no time to waste. You don't want to be your loving man. I know a place where we can go. Take
Now, you've been on the road for how many years now?
This will be our 4th or 5th year playing out on the road. We've had a lot of fun times, a lot of memorable times. That's one of the things about playing with these guys is that it's really, to us, I mean, we love to sing, we love to pick, we love to perform, but it's the times on the road that most of our memories are from. I mean, we played, over in Ohio, we played Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois. I mean, we've played them all, but I've enjoyed every presence we've had on stage. But I mean, most of our stories, come from being on the road. It's we played Ohio this year in January, and Ohio is usually about from Indianapolis to where we were playing. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive. Between 4 inches of ice and about 18 inches of snow, that drive was about 4.5 hours that night. And 4-wheel drive all the way home. Yeah. We played a show over in Illinois. That's in Arcola, Illinois. And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, we had a weekend where we played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Saturday, we were driving back from Arcola, Illinois. We were to do a gospel show on Sunday in Plainfield, Indiana, and we were working up what we were going to sing, and we just grabbed the guitar out of the back of the truck. We're driving down the road and playing the guitar and working up new numbers, just singing and having fun, and that was hard. I mean, I had to play the guitar and drive at the same time. It was hard.
Okay, let's go to your new project. Talk about your new CD.
Okay, it's one of those projects that seems to take so long of a time to complete. All of us, this is our hobby. We are working through the week, but see, that's the thing is that we've got about 5 tracks laid down right now, but we've had time elapse over this time frame the last year, and either we found a new song, or I've written a new one, or my dad has written a new one. The one song that we played today, Just the Silence, that was actually written by a gentleman named Ralph King that was a member of the Kentucky Gentlemen. And Cody and I were, right before my son was born, we were painting the room and putting up paneling, and we were listening to old albums. And that song had came on, and Cody was like, "Oh, we need to do that song." And I've known that song for years. It's just you don't think about putting 2 and 2 together, and sometimes it takes another person's ear to catch something.
I understand.
We really did have a lot of fun working that tune up. It was as soon as you kick that song off, when we start singing, we know it's. You'll see us just look at each other. It's like, this is it. This is what we've been looking for. And
how do we get in touch with you? Let's talk about your website and give us some information.
Tim's number's 1-800.
Stop.
Sorry. You can follow us on Facebook. The BluetownBluegrassBand.com has links to Facebook, to Twitter, Instagram. You can see our schedule there. You can see a lot of updated photos. You can see our sponsors. You can see our blog that we write while we're on the road and stuff like that. We do have contact information via telephone there. The best way that we like to get out anyway is word of mouth and performances.
Okay. Hold it. Hold it. Okay. We'd like to thank WKTV once again for having us the opportunity to come up here and play bluegrass music for the wonderful state of Michigan. Once again, on behalf of Cody Hill, Mr. Tim Collier, Mr. Rick Collier, Mr. Zach Collier, I'm not a Collier, but I'm Barkley Davis, and we are Bluetown. Thank you so very much for having us.
There's one sun wind blowing up from
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sally, be my wife.
What happened?
As soon as he went, he about smacked Cody.
Sorry. I forgot. I forgot we were supposed to sing right now.
Kick it again. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. That was awesome. I don't even know what I just said.
Yeah. Go for it.
You smile, really like,
Yeah, where is he? Oh, there he is.
tickle his fancy tickle.
I'm gonna tickle. I am.
What part of you?
Careful.
Fancy?